What does biz? Goofy dog. Oh, chilly. Chilly, chilly. Brr, 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 brr. Hey. Hey, bud. Yeah, I'm over here now. Big goof. Oh, what a goof. Juju, yeah. He's just out there doing his biz. Coffee, get my jackets on, and all that shit. Sit there for a sec. There we go. Oh. Uh-oh. Here he comes. Bubba! Hi, Bubby. Look at you. No juju. There's really nothing hanging on your walls. Dude, my walls are filled to shit. I have like a... Hold on. Got that, obviously. And then over here I got all this crazy shit. And of course, just have casually some very lucid picture right there, you know. And yeah, a literal plane door. That is indeed a door of a plane. I was camping once and saw it on the side of the road, so I picked it up. And of course, you know, flags, whole shebang. Getting these boots all tied up. Yeah, gonna get myself coffee and all that fun shit. Yeah. Chua. You little goob. Juju, you sweet little boy. You know, you're just a crazy boy. Just a crazy doggo. Ooh. Go. Alright. Oh my god. Okay, I sometimes not biggest fan of the boots just because it takes forever to tie these fuckers up. I can't imagine like what those like knee-high boots must be like when you have to lace those fuckers all the way up. It'd be ridiculous. It's become more annoying as time passes. Soon we need to be at 3 to 5 weeks curiously before the 25th of next month. Huh. That is just so conveniently curious. Of course, it's a damn dog. Hi. You damn goof. Come on. Come on, buddy. Hey, I need to see where my friend did with his heater that I had over here. Because I'd like that. I would like that right about now. For this morning. Over here. It's a fucking like windy today, Jesus. And fucking rainy. Really? Great. What the fuck? Okay. Oh my god, he has a whole setup in here. Oh my lord. Well, there's the heater. He's got all of his shit all set up in here. Alright, well, take this. Come here. Come on. Come, get cord, quit getting tangled. Oh my god. Ugh. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. Ugh. Cool. Living in the Windy City. It is, yes, windy out here right now. And it's raining. So there's that. And Zukov ran off over there. In the backyard. So whatever. Well, Portland when homeless are endless and so are the handouts. Handouts to who? I'd love to know who people are, like, who are getting the free handouts out here. You want to know who gets handouts in Portland? Cops, the city council, business owners, NIMBY lib types. They're the ones who get handouts. Their voices are considered far more than anybody else's around here, so... At least when it comes to, like, government operational type of shit. There ain't no damn lefty progressive lib types out here getting fucking handouts. Think he thinks homeless get handouts, free tents and drugs? No. There's like, there's different, programs to try to help alleviate homeless people, which, yeah, sometimes they'll give free tents and shit, but like there's literally nowhere where people are just handing out free drugs because, like that is totally something that a drug dealer would do. Yeah, let me sell the main thing I'm trying to make money off of and just give it to people for free. Because that makes a lot of fucking sense. Conservatives, they're fucking retarded. I'll pay you book for handouts. How? They do. It's like, Jesus Christ, how retarded. Oop, oh, god damn it. Coffee. Oh, maybe adjust that hair a little bit too. It's probably all fucked up. Yeah, kind of. Just a little bit. God damn it. Fuck. There we go. Okay, yeah. There we go. Good fucking lord. Okay, there we go. Ugh. Shit's all good there. Okay, there we go. fucking loose ass here, isn't it what I mean? Usually if I was gonna run away to Portland, it'd be a homeless bum. You know what's funny? Like, there's actually more economic opportunity here than there is in Alabama. So maybe that worthless fucking inbred hick should probably, maybe, I don't know, move up here, or maybe actually see what the fuck type of opportunities are available. Instead of being a fucking racist, retarded fuck who just, like, literally just goes against their own interests every step of the way just so they can lick the cock of the fucking fascist boot that, you know, they worship. Maybe he should have a fucking brain, have some intelligence, and actually grow a fucking skull to, you know, surround it too, so it's protected. And actually, I don't know, come up here. Or is he too scared of the soy lattes and the fucking, you know, evergreen forests and shit? Is he too scared about that? Is he too scared that, you know, some liberal hipster might, you know, just, you know, like, annoy him about, like, you know, gender theory or something? Because if so, what a bitch. As Lights BMW says, first wife lives up there. Well, we don't like him either, and he can go fuck off. Like, I wouldn't want him setting foot, you know, with his hick, disgusting ass feet all over my, you know, like, region. I wouldn't want it. So, hey, feelings mutual. Shit, I'd be okay kicking his ass out if he happened to be around here. It's like, oh, huh, it seems like you're far from home. Here, relocate back to Alabama now. Or wherever the fuck you originally came from. Last time he was in Washington, someone told him, go home, rebel, we don't want you here. Yeah, we don't. We already have enough of them up here as it is. There's a bunch of them that live out in eastern Washington and eastern Oregon, and yeah, so we don't want them here either. Yeah, we want them to go, like, either go to fucking Idaho or go down south where they belong. But no, they don't. Can you please someone use that terminology? Oh, dude, up here, yeah. Maybe fuck off, fascist. Well, dude, up here, like, if you're from the South and, like, hardcore conservative, like, you're basically a rebel, neo-Confederate, fascist shitbag. Like, there really isn't that much, you know, like, you know, to be assumed about beyond that, essentially, you know, to a lot of people up here. So, yeah, you're going to be considered a fascist, a rebel, you know, just like some weird boomer, Elmer Fudd, like, you know, type of person. I mean, it's just kind of generally how it is. That obviously doesn't mean everybody, but, like, you know, when it comes to, like, someone overtly showing their politics on their sleeve and they're from the South, yeah. Like, it's kind of obvious, like, where your side is. And they do. Like, they honestly do wear that shit on their sleeve. They won't say anything about it. They're just like, yep, you know, I'm proud American and no one will bat an eye on this if they're a proper American, too. You know, because basically, you know, if anyone apparently says anything about whatever they might be wearing, they're, you know, liberal and a commie and fucking snowflake, and they're just looking at an excuse to just call people that, essentially, at least in public. Is they gonna refer to themselves as a rebel or someone? What, like a rebel? Oh, dude. The term rebels, like these Southern Confederates always say, you know, like rebel pride and all that shit. Though, realistically, they ain't no goddamn rebel. They're fucking cowardly traitors. They ain't rebels. If they want to see real rebels, they need to look at OG rednecks. Like labor agitators and, like, coal miners and shit. Who worked out in Appalachia and the Midwest and shit. Those are real rednecks. The reason why they were called that is because they were wearing red bandanas when they were on strike lines and picket lines and shit like that. And hence they got their name. So it's just like, in these conservative fucktards, you know, are all, you know, have appropriated that name to mean like Confederate pride, basically, which is bullshit. If anything, the OG rednecks would spit in their fucking face and probably, you know, like smack them up with a brick and beat their fucking truck down with a brick. Like, and slash their tires and shit. Like, those are what real rednecks would be doing to them. So, alright there, scabby boy, we're going to slash tires, beat the fuck out of your truck, so that paycheck you're going to be getting in that factory over there is going to go all to repairing that shit and your broken fucking face. That's what's, you know, that's a real rebel right there. It's part of the culture and identity, and it's sad it proves white people have no inherent culture beyond consumerism and distant Europe past, and that's pathetic. Because I, as a white person, have like a part of things that I can, be a part of. Like, the broader, culture about being in the Pacific Northwest and being Oregonian and shit. I can easily, whoop, kind of clump myself up into with that, clump up with that shit. And I do. If anything, I identify with that shit, being in, like, Cascadia and Oregon and shit like that way more so, and identify with that way more so than America or being white or anything else in between. I mean, at least all in all. I mean, I don't have, like, the most deep, ethereal connection to the PMW or whatever the fuck, but, I mean, when it comes to, like, the things that I identify with first, being an Oregonian, or Pacific Northwesterner is the first thing that comes up in my mind. Not being white, not being American, not being this or that, being in the region I grew up in, because this is my fucking home, So it's just like, and it doesn't really go beyond that. I mean, I guess to a sense it does, because, I mean, I really, truly do love the biome around here, because it's very beautiful, it's very lush, there's a lot of shit around here that, has all sorts of stuff. From evergreens to savanna plains to like tundra a little bit, even straight up fucking some like jungle tropical stuff too, and like marshes and shit. Like Portland's got like a little bit of everything basically. Or at least Oregon has a little bit of everything basically. I think I just said Portland, but like when it comes to Oregon, I mean, and just broadly the Pacific Northwest, there's like a little bit of every biome here. Like a little bit. So I mean, this is like if you want to go to a certain spot, or like check out a specific biome, I mean, shit, like just go to one specific part of the Pacific Northwest and you're gonna find it. And it makes sense of pride and the potential of America, but I think it's left over. Yeah, dude, that's always gonna be indoctrination. I mean, also, I guess to an extent, I'll be, frank a little bit. Like, I do think, having a sense of pride of what potentially can be America is not inherently a bad thing, depending on what the fuck that is. Like, it needs to be, pointed into a very productive and good direction that actually does maximize potential and prosperity of America, if that's what we're trying to do, Is he over there? Yeah, he's over there. I see what America could be as a proper worker state. Sure, yeah, like when it comes to like the different times of the potential of laborers in this country that have like fought for their rights and for their daily bread and shit, for the civil rights activists, I mean, there's all sorts of potential of this country that is actually good, for sure. It's like, I mean, I know a lot of lefties hate the idea of like good things about America, but frankly, I mean, small as they are, yeah, there is. And I think, hyper emphasizing and highlighting that and being like, this is what the fuck we could be, and we could have been in history, and yet it's taken us this long to be this. Why in the fuck aren't we that? It's like, I mean, we should be taking that type of, tact, honestly, at least in my mind. Like the era of FDR, like plenty of fucked up shit that happened under FDR, especially Japanese internment camps, shit like that. But let's take the fucking great shit that we know him of, the New Deal, shit like that, and emphasize that and be like, why aren't we this again? That's the potential we have, and we lost it. Well, I mean, we lost it somewhere back the trail. We got to like backtrack a little bit, figure out where it is, and come back up and catch up with everybody. Because, I mean, like, and again, especially I know a lot of leftists aren't 100% about, that idea overall, just in general, because America bad, which it is. Like, I'm pretty, gung-ho, not pro-America for sure. But, like, I mean, you gotta at least, like, look at the little bits and pieces, that individuals and different movements in America have culminated to really, truly show that things can be better. We can, and there are people within this place that can try to make this better and are trying to make it better and have tried to, and granted, maybe, in a lot of ways they probably succeeded in different things, and maybe in plenty of other ways they didn't. It's like not everyone's a John Brown, not everybody's an MLK, and even then they had their failures. I mean, John Brown, Harper's Ferry, like, that was a botched raid. Like, if you really look into the details of everything, it was a botched raid from the start. Like, John Brown basically said fuck it and just did it anyway because he was that convicted on his values and his principle. Like, he didn't take, 2 seconds to think, I should probably wait for this attack and make sure I have my men. And he didn't. He said, fuck it, you know, and he, despite, you know, knowing that he was going to lose anyway, because he cared more about his convictions and about what America should have ought to been. You know, because he cared enough about it. And granted, maybe in the moment he lost, but, hey, soul goes marching on, right, as they say. Maybe we could eventually reach a point where we start recheck-dream, but I fear we're too late to save humanity. I don't entirely agree. So that's self-vengeance. I mean, there's, I think, you know, some merit to have a little bit of that vengeance. I don't think you should let it take you over, so to speak. But I do think there's merit to having a little bit that there. Because when it comes to the perpetrators of, like, you know, oppression and a lot of the exploitation, I mean, there really needs to be an acknowledging of, like, yeah, these are motherfuckers that, you know, are the root of not just humanity, but planets, of the fucking planet's problems. Like, it would literally take generations, you know, for them to fucking redeem themselves. And maybe that'd be the case. Hey, their kids got silver spoons, they're, you know, taking advantage of it, got the privilege just as much as the rest of their fucking families. Maybe they can work the debt off. If they value their lives a lot. If such things were real. What, Death Note? Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Every single one of those motherfuckers would be on the blacklist. Or the Death Note. Whichever you want to call it. I gotta blow my nose. Motherfuck. Oh, hold on. Yeah. You'll have to see it. Ah! Motherfuck. Oh, that was just clumpy and chonky and all that grossness. Ugh. That was just... bleh. Most certainly an unpleasant experience right there. She keeps sending you trailers to look at. Oh, that reminds me. Last night I was mentioning we should check out that weird fucking draft lady guy or whatever the fuck. Yeah. I don't care what we get as long as I can smoke 5 Mary Jane. Well, I mean, hey, I trust that she would be able to find something good. Shut up! Fucking nub. Where'd it go? Jesus Christ, Anne's like been popping out videos. Fucking popping them off. Ah, here it is. But most properties are gorgeous. Nice. What the fuck? What absurd mutt. What an absurd boy. Here. Not sure how I feel about condos though. Is she also looking at condos, like condominiums? I mean, I'd imagine like I never lived one, so I don't know. Like, aren't they basically like little houses that are like connected like right next to another house, basically? Like one of those type of things. Because if so, I mean, I always thought that, like, those either go, like, three ways, I feel like. Either you get, like, somebody who's, like, living next to you that's actually pretty legit, or you get, like, a total dick who you really wish that you didn't have as a neighbor, or you're gonna have someone who's fucking crazy. Like, basically. Like, which I guess could culminate into one of the two other things as well. Or I guess it could go four ways. Like, the fourth one is, like, someone's quiet, chill, barely talks to you, and when they do, they're like, hey, what's up, bro? And that's about it, you know? So it's just like, I guess it could go four ways. Frankly, I'd rather have the chill dude, or the guy's just like, hey, what's up, bro, every now and then. Like, I'd rather have those dudes. So I guess, I don't know, that can go either way, and hopefully it's the first or the fourth option. So, someone that's a dick or legit kind of Coco, you know, or a little cuckoo, that would be a little, that'd be bad. I roving bands of white guys to knock on your door and help you if you open the door. Not hump, Lamau. I was about to say, bro, wait. Roving band of rapey white guys, which is like, what the fuck? Oh my god. But they jump. Like, okay, so they would do home invasions? The last neighborhood you were in literally had like a band of raving white freaks just like fucking doing home invasions? Bruh, how in the fuck were they not like shot? Like, honestly, that's Alabama, right? And knowing that, like, how in the fuck didn't like some Elmer Fudd with a 12 gauge not just obliterate them like the founding fathers intended? There's a white ghetto. And plenty of people that live in ghettos also have guns. Now, whether they're legal or not, that's questionable, but hey, they do. Anyone could afford guns. I didn't even see cars on that street. Well, I mean, chances are they probably did, but whether they're legal or not is questionable. Because, I mean, that might explain why they maybe weren't using them. Because, yeah, if you're defending your house with a gun, but it's not legal, the idea of defending your house just goes out the window. Because now you're in possession of an illegal firearm, and, yeah, good luck telling that to the court. So, that's probably why, honestly. Those dudes probably know, like, you know, who probably does or doesn't have a firearm, or if it's legal or not, and jump those people. Because they know that those people, even if they tried to defend themselves with that said gun, they would be fucked. And the dudes who are trying to, you know, literally home invade their house would get away with it. Or have a very light sentence. She told me after she has several encounters with those roving bands of white dudes. Fucking what? Man, if I lived in a neighborhood like that, I would straight be fucking packing, dude. Like, seriously. When they live together, knife, man, I would be having more than that. Because honestly, just even for something like a 32 ACP, like type of pistol, like, you know, or something like that, or 9mm, ain't that expensive. You can get a pistol for like $250, $300. I mean, it's probably not going to be the greatest quality, but that don't fucking matter. When it comes to, like, brand name or, you know, shit like that, it really don't fucking matter. Just your mental health history. Well, I mean, all intents and purposes, with her in mind, that's understandable. So, but either way, man, like, if I was in her position, I probably would. Because, yeah, I don't want to, you know, also be a victim of said crazy things. That revokes her rights in Alabama. Ah, so she has a very consistent history. You don't, like she does. So, like, okay, yeah. Okay, even with that in mind, yeah, a knife is okay. Maybe some bear mace. Maybe a taser. But, yeah. I've actually been like wanting to probably get like one of those like a taser or some shit. Like one of those ones that like the cops have where you shoot it. One of those like little shooting tasers. That'd be honestly kind of fucking cool. Because then, you know, if anything, if I really feel like I need to, you know, I can have that with me and shit. And obviously, you know, if someone gets hit with a taser, they're just gonna go on the ground for a second and give me enough of a chance to go get the fuck out of Dodge. So, honestly, like, in a lot of ways, at least when it comes to less lethal style of defense and shit, tasers are actually, you know, fairly decent. Is it raining that hard? Are you serious? God. I think that's hail. With the air taser, and when they taste him as demonstration, his uniform caught fire because they set it too high. Oh my god! Why? Like, I get the demonstration shit, but like, those early models, you could adjust the power level. No! You shouldn't, like, it should be set to a specific power level that is enough to just do basic incapacitation, that's it. Like, you shouldn't, like, that's just like, what the fuck? Like, bruh. Like, there should basically be, like, as far as I'm, you know, concerned, maybe, like, 3 different modes. Off, low power, regular taser power, basically. So low power would be like, ow, you know, like that type of shit. Be like, fucking hell, you know, like if you're getting a little zap, but like then the regular one would be like, you know, like you're getting tased. There shouldn't be any other levels. Because that's just like, what the fuck? Someone left it at max setting. Why? Why? Dude, what? Oh my god. At least they don't have those max settings on a taser anymore. Well, at least I hope so. I mean, honestly, they probably don't anyway, just because there's been plenty of stories where people have literally died for being tased to death. Find it hilarious that get lit on fire. I mean, it's step douche, so who cares? Sup, dude? Sup? Man, this fucking rain. Oregon, you're having a late bloom spring. Why? So why though? First thing to do is just smoke in Arizona as a blunt. That's an excellent choice. I mean, I know dispensaries, at least around here, carry blunts, so I imagine, you know, dispensaries in Arizona would probably be the same. I imagine there should at least be, you know, some sort of, you know, blunt that you can buy. Honestly, I kind of want to get a blunt. It's been a fat minute since I've smoked a blunt, too. Blunts. Ayo, ayo. Yeah, let's check out this whole thing. Because I know that Venom was telling me about this yesterday, but I need to do it again. And actually react to it. Why are you yelling at me? I'm not? I'm not yelling. Yeah, don't yell at him. God, what the fuck? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for yelling.
Alright, everybody. So, absolute insane incel epidemic has been growing over the last year. It went from being sort of this niche section of the internet that was kind of growing in popularity back in the early 2010s to now being, honestly, I think incel ideology, like at least the core of it, is almost like the party line of the internet right now. Like, even though the internet overwhelmingly hates Andrew Tate and his, like, posse, it feels like a lot of the same ideas they preach have actually seeped out of their sphere and become popular, like, even among people that criticize Andrew Tate nonetheless. You guys have noticed that, right? And
I mean, honestly, I'm not 100% too sure with that. I mean, I think there is definitely a little bit of truth to it, because I have seen some of these, like, you know, like gym bro type of content creators that will, like, kind of, or, like, even, like, some other, like, you know, content creators when it comes to things like gun channels or whatever the fuck. Like, I do kind of notice there is, but I feel like it's always kind of been that way anyway, when it comes to, like, a little bit of this, like, oh yeah, men are all manly and shit like that, blah, blah, and all that, you know, all that kind of, like, bullshit. And, I don't know, like, at least I've also noticed, too, to a certain extent, that it's also not, like, to the same degree or level as, like, the Manosphere Andrew Tate shit, either. Where it's like, yeah, we're all, like, manly and shit, blah, blah, but, like, oh, yeah, if women want, you know, tag along and join us with our manly awesomeness, and cool. You know, if anything, they get kind of excited at the idea that, like, there are some, like, chicks or, like, other dudes or, like, other people out there that might be, like, you know, not necessarily cut from their, like, big old macho cloth or some shit, but willing to, like, you know, join them with it a little bit. If anything, they kind of like it, you know, where it's like, oh, there's, like, a lady that wants to come along with us? Oh, cool. I mean, because then they're like, you know, like, oh, cool, let's show our shit off to them, you know, it's like, here, let's see if you can handle this, and blah, 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 whatever the fuck. I mean, so, at least just from my general observations about that type of stuff, I don't think, like, the actual Manosphere, like, specific, you know, ideology about that type of shit is, like, permeated that much. Though I think it's definitely got, you know, more of an overlap now at this point, just because there is a little bit. But, like I said, it's not really, like, hardcore, you know, like, so much to the point where I think it's, like, that mainstream. It doesn't really feel that mainstream, at least. Like, yeah, it's got prominence, but I just don't see it as, like, the main prominent mainstream thing like it's made out to be. I think it's just, like, mainly just over-embellished, like, something that's just, like, hyper-focused on in a lot of ways, which, in a sense, I think there is merit to it. Like, I think, you know, the fact that there's, like, yeah, lonely dudes out there and shit needs to be addressed, and there is, I think, healthy ways to do so, but I mean, the weird Manosphere thing is, you know, definitely not a 100% healthy way of going about it. I say 100% because there's like a weird off, like, 10% of it, maybe, about it, give or take, that every now and then, at least some of them will be like, yeah, you know, eating healthy and get some exercise, stuff like that is good for your body, but like, they'll all throw in a few things that are actually like, okay. You know, because I have seen some Manosphere shorts where it will actually be just strictly about something like that and not even talk about, like, you know, women are lame or whatever the fuck. I'll be like, okay. You know, and I'll realize, like, this is how they kind of hook people. You know, it's like they'll say shit like this, and then that's how they usually hook them into the other Manosphere stuff. Yes, and because it's basically like a very vague, like, yeah, that's not bad advice necessarily. You know, obviously it could be probably explored on or, you know, specified, but at least broadly, it ain't bad. So it's just like, huh. It's kind of honestly interesting how, like, you know, to see in that way too, because they usually use stuff like that to really hook, you know, people into the rest of their type of shit. It's like using the, you know, like how people like Alex Jones and conspiracy theorists will use, like, a grain of truth, you know, to sell them on the crazy snake oil. Same thing here.
I think that it's fair to say that a lot of people are kind of worried about this. I mean, where is this coming from? Why is incel ideology getting so popular? Are they just getting louder?
Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are, yes, human rights.
Are there actually more people subscribing to the ideology of inceldom? Now, I should clarify, by the way, the actual definition of incel has actually changed a lot over time. Incel just used to mean involuntarily celibate, right? Like somebody who...
Do you feel the same way about Andrew Tate that I feel about Jordan Peterson? Shame at sharing a part of your name with him. Nah. Because I don't have, like, some, you know, close affinity about my name about it. I mean, it's more or less just like, ew. I guess the surface level, like, ew, I guess I do share a name with him, but it's not really beyond that, at least for me. Because, I mean, there's plenty of fucking, like, cringe-ass people named that. And also, plenty of really dope-ass people that are also named that. Though there needs to be more dope-ass people named Andrew. There needs to be more.
Voluntarily is, celibate, as in they can't get pussy, right? They can't get laid. Obviously, it can also mean you can't get dick, but typically we're talking about men.
I mean, also, like, I share the same name as Andrew Jackson, too. Which, I mean, do we have to get in about that guy? It's like, ew.
Identifying...
And no, I wasn't named after him, thank fucking God.
...incels online. Now, though, incel has a much broader meaning outside of just dudes who can't get laid, and has basically become an umbrella term for the entire ideology that encompasses the MRA, red pill, pickup artists, right-wing, like, anti-feminist sphere, right? That's essentially what we're referring to when we say incel now. Much less than the traditional, like, 2012, 2014... dude who can't get laid online, definition of incel. That basic sort of history lesson...
Named after a guy who died filming The Crow. I mean, honestly, technically, I was named after my granddad. I mean, because Andrew isn't really actually my first name. So, I mean, like, due to, like, weird fucking technicalities, really because my mom was just high on morphine, that is literally how and why. But, like, I mean... Andrew isn't the technical, actual, like, first name. It was supposed to, but it isn't. And, and thus, basically, was unintentionally named after my fucking granddad. I mean, it's just like, man, motherfuck. I mean, honestly, if I wanted to, I could probably legally change my name with probably, like, literally no issues at all. Don't tell me your name's actually Ignar. Well, considering that I probably could change my name legally without any issues, considering the story about it, I mean, I probably could if I wanted to. And honestly, I'd be okay with that. It's whatever. But no, it actually isn't.
Way. The incels, I do think, are getting more popular. I think their figureheads are getting more attention and getting more popular, and I think generally their ranks are growing in numbers for, sadly enough, fairly valid reasons. If we look at, the state of most, maybe not most, but many, like, studies done on the virginity status of a lot of young, like, men compared to young women, like, 18 to, like, 23 or something like that, there's definitely been a pretty sharp increase in male virginity. And that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Obviously, if you're a virgin and you just haven't gotten around to having sex, or you don't want to, or it doesn't really bother you, or you're not into sex, or you're just not ready yet, that's completely fine. But let's not pretend that is...
I can say if we safety managed drop. I mean, honestly, like what Zane was just saying, like, it shouldn't matter. And I definitely agree, it shouldn't. Like, I mean, this idea that, like, being a virgin is, like, inherently a bad thing, it's like, so the fuck what? It's like, I mean, who cares if you are or not? It shouldn't be. Like, I don't see it as a bad thing. Honestly, for some people, it's kind of seen as kind of a little bit of a, like, oh, that's kind of cute. It's like, here, let me show you the ropes a little bit. It's like, at least for some people, it's like, oh, that's actually kind of an attractive thing, because then I could show them the ropes type of shit, and, give them, the experience, and blah, blah, blah. Like, for some people, if anything, it's actually kind of seen of like, more so than it. Like, at least, from some people I've talked to about it. I mean, honestly, it is really mixed. Some people are kind of like, virgin, you don't know anything. But there's also plenty of people that are like, oh, well, that's kind of cute, because then I could kind of show you around a little bit, blah, 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 and, help you explore, and la, 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 and all that shit. So, I mean, I've heard, like, legit both ends, when it comes to, like, people's position on it. And really, it's because... at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, people got their personal takes about it, if someone is or not. But it should never really, be a big deal. Like, I mean, if it's something that you don't want to be anymore, then, I mean, it's just like, you know, figure out, like, you know, within yourself about, like, you know, what you need to work on to, you know, put yourself out there and have, be confident and shit, and just, you know, go do your damn thing. You know, it's just like, like, I mean, you know, there isn't really, like, in my mind, honestly, like, that much that really needs to, honestly, you know, like, really be said about, like, you know, here's, like, actually, you know, some more positive ways to do so, because, like, if it was, like, easier, especially when it came to, like, more means of accessibility of, like, opportunity and, like, the lack of, social economic, you know, opportunities and shit like that, I mean, yeah, with that considered, I mean, you have to kind of, like, work within your means and at least just, you know, working with your own identity, your own sense of self, and just putting that out there without, you know, and not giving a fuck, and just, you know, going with the flow a little bit with it, and just, you know, seeing, you know, where things go with things, you know, with people and shit. It's really just kind of a, you know, a better outlook with it. I mean, like, because at the end of the day, you can't, like, fucking hyper focus or hyper obsess over shit like that, you know? Yeah, the Ouroboros, Jormungandr, or, you know, self-eating snake. Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's an Ouroboros that just eats itself.
People. Most people, particularly most dudes, which is what we're really talking about here, really want to lose their virginity sooner than later. Especially around 18 to 23, right? And we've also seen an increase, statistically speaking, of loneliness and feelings of sort of unwantedness in our society, both for men and women. All of these stats apply to men and women, but doubly so for men. Now, to be fair, a lot of this data has been heavily biased, or I shouldn't say biased, heavily affected by the pandemic. The pandemic played a large part in this. I don't think this is like the left or feminism or...
I mean, honestly, the pandemic played a major fundamental fucking variable to you know, to a lot of these things. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's like, whether people like it or not, it did. It just simply did.
Civism or, like, society that has been the largest factor of this trend. I think a lot of it has been COVID, but nonetheless, the trend did exist.
I mean, I really actually do think, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, a lot of different problems have been hyper-accelerated due to, you know, the pandemic and shit. Because, like, I mean, if you really think about it, was, like, you know, the issue about, like, male loneliness or, like, inceldom and shit, like, as big of an issue? It's like, yeah, they were a thing, but, like, they weren't, like, so accelerated to such a issue up until, you know, the last few years, basically. So, I mean, it definitely follows the line with the fact that the pandemic, you know, cracked off and shit and everything. So, like, I mean, it... Honestly, I think for a lot of people, they don't necessarily consider that, like, yeah, the fact that we had to, like, social isolate for some time and shit definitely played a role to that. Meanwhile, me and my MAGA buddies were protected for the co-host, but I don't even want to finish that, but yeah. I mean, you know, it's like, goddamn. But the thing is, it's not even like a fear thing. You know, it's just based off of, like, you know, public health and safety shit.
Before COVID happened, COVID just made it worse.
You're not lonely. I mean, okay, maybe physically, sure, but, you know, like, when it comes to, like, mentally with, you know, friends, no. I mean, yeah, maybe we're not physically, you know, there, but, yeah, whatever. Ain't lonely, you got your G's.
A lot of young men...
The woke mind virus.
That are, like, 8...
Well, Xan did, and he got his, vaxes and boosts, too. Which reminds me, honestly, I need to as well, because he did a recent video as well. I mean, I won't click on it, but I know it's somewhere in here that I watched. I think it was, where was it? Oh, right here. Yeah, it was this one. Like, I saw this video, and honestly, I was just like, fuck, okay, I kind of want to get my, you know, this, you know, next booster, and honestly, just, it kind of, you know, put myself in check of, like, yeah, this is still a fucking problem. It's like, man, ugh. And honestly, like, that video, too, the original clip is just legit kind of fucking sad. It's like, man, I really do feel bad for her. Because she was, like, an up-and-coming channel, like, recently got married, a whole shebang and stuff, you know, was, like, popping off a lot, especially when it came to science shit. It just straight up, like, when COVID hit, just like everything just like collapsed, and now she can basically barely fucking function at this point. It's just like, man, it's fucked. And that's long COVID. I should have qualified for a booster. I know my work does them, so I'm pretty sure that I'm able to get them pretty easily. And probably for free, too, still. Do hipsters get apartments to themselves? If they have the hipster money for it, if they got the income. Honestly, depending on who your roommate is, they might actually be pretty chill. Portland is where the homeless are endless and sort of handouts. Oh, you're telling Rose that? Yeah. We haven't even got to the clip yet here. We're going to skip around because I don't got too much time. But I just want to get to the clip. Oh, here it is. Here's the clip.
Years ago might be a good peek into what that would be like. Let's watch this. Prepare yourselves for some nuclear things.
All women should be drafted, but not into the military. Men are doing their end of the bargain. We know who our foreign enemies are, and our soldiers go and tackle them quite aptly, I think. But we also know who our domestic enemies are, our domestic foes. And those are, of course, incels, involuntarily celibate men. Study after study has shown the undeniable link between being an incel and becoming a violent domestic extremist. Incels undoubtedly represent a profound and present risk to national security. To reiterate, if men are going abroad to tackle foreign enemies, women themselves must tackle domestic enemies, and therefore women must be forcefully enlisted into a sex corps. It is my honest and sincere proposal that all women, unmarried, over the age of 18, must, via lottery system, once per year, solve this threat to national security and cure incels for at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes per year. Men can go and take
I'm trying to let it play out entirely, but oh my god, I can't. Okay, like this guy's stuff. Yeah, Venom, you were telling me about this yesterday, and this is why I wanted to, talk about this, before I went to work and shit. Because I promised I was. So, okay, for one, the draft is not actually, going on. It's just something that you sign up for, which women do too, by the way. Who's saying this unironically? Incels. Dude, you'd sadly be surprised, unfortunately. This has to be a troll. Well, the thing is, I feel like maybe this guy might be a troll, but from what I understand, other people checked out this guy's content and said that this guy is, a gay conservative, so he apparently is, pandering to conservatives and, incel types and shit. So, from my understanding, he's not a troll. So, I don't know, man. I mean, it feels like a troll, but I don't think he is. From what I understand, from what other people have inferred about him. So it's just it's... And also, there is, another thing. It's, foreign and domestic, does this guy not realize that the military, can be used for domestic affairs as well, especially when it comes to things like natural disasters and shit? And also, again, women partake in that as well. And also, how's this solve anything? Yep, a lottery where, women randomly are selected to basically get raped for, 10 minutes or something every year. It's just huh?
You can take that for 10 minutes. It's not that much. It's actually not an insane ask, to stop terrorism, is it?
To stop terrorism, is it?
If you couldn't tell, despite the fact the way this person refers to incels in the third person,
become some hung Mexican dude's bitch. Well, hey, what if it's an incel femboy?
Way
they might like it.
Them is likely to commit terrorism. This is still
those are acceptable terms.
It's just sort of
honestly, I might want to sign up.
Sarcastic, get back at the left.
Not
way.
Specifically Mexican, but you get the idea. Well, hey, it doesn't matter to me either. Frankly, I mean, fuck. I mean, what are you trying to make incel sign up or me sign up?
We'll cut right through the apparent hit you in the face absurdity of the video and try to meticulously take this apart, because to be fair, there are a good few incels online And even
Venom specifically gets like the most like thickest Portuguese accented human that is speaking like Portuguese, dude. He specifically needs to get that.
who aren't necessarily incels, but just kind of like dude bros, who would kind of agree with this thought process. I've heard people suggest this online before, so let's take apart this argument as if it was worth engaging with on equal ground.
All women should be drafted, but not into the military.
Okay, so for starters, the US does have a draft system in place. However, we have not had a draft in a very long time. And not only that, but pretty much every single expert agrees that another draft ever happening in American history is pretty much impossible. It's not going to happen. Not only do we have one of, correct me if I'm wrong, the most, like, manned army in the world, like, our military has the most numbers, if not, like, China might have...
I mean, essentially. So, like, honestly, frankly, at this point, a draft wouldn't even be necessary, literally just because of the fuck you equipment and personnel, you know, concurrently in the military, let alone that, you know, could be in the reserves, you know, like, outside of, you know, like, people in the draft. So it's like, and honestly, unless, like, it was basically a literal, like, World War III nukes might go off scenario or some shit, like, a draft ain't come back. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that, you know, no one's made an argument about, like, why not just get rid of it? You know, just because it's, you know, kind of not needed anymore. You know, so it's just like, I mean, I guess that would be a little detrimental to the military-industrial complex, because they're like, well, just in case. Because at this point, it could most certainly be done with and just be gone away with at this rate.
People than us, but if not, then we have more equipment, like we have more guns, we have more, like, ships, more tanks, more vehicles, more planes, more everything. Not only that, but we have the largest amount of reserve fighters in the world for a country. So, like, that's not even counting the people who are actively in our military. Our reserves are fucking massive. So if we were to go to war and our...
Yeah, I have it. What, I have an Indian accent?
Serving military personnel were not enough.
Okay, maybe that was a little racist.
We've got a shit ton of people in the reserves, and then from there, like, there's just not a chance that a draft is going to happen ever again. Why are so many men
canceled? Yeah. I know. I know. I just had to, like, you know what? Like, it was kind of just there. I just kind of had to take it, you know. And canceled. I mean, you know, like Vosh, you know, says every now and then, a little edge and a little, like, lighthearted, a little, jokery, every now and then is okay. I mean, it's just like, obviously there's a level of, like, would, like, a race is big in a shitbag, look at that and be like, yeah. And no, because honestly, like, they'd be like, what are you doing, try to be, like, some random, like, I don't even want to, like, go into that part, but you get the idea. Cheeks, claps, cons, triggers, triggerays, mission accomplished, oh my god.
Torn up about the draft, because the draft is something that has no actual...
Quit talking about the draft.
A draft would be, and that's so ridiculous. Anyway, and
would go and tackle them.
Simple.
Sugar
Men are
rays.
doing their end of the bargain. We know
and women. There are women in the military, and all of them volunteer.
Who our foreign enemies are, and our soldiers go off and tackle them quite aptly, I think. But we also know who our domestic...
No, they don't.
...are domestic foes. And those are, of course, incels, involuntarily celibate men. Study after study has shown the undeniable link between being an incel and becoming a violent domestic extremist.
So what this guy's basically doing here is trying to do, like, a sly DreamWorks smile, smug, like, well, the left believes that incels are such a potential danger to society. Alright, I'll grant them that. Then I guess the left will have to agree that women
should have
a
to face the threat.
responsibility
Yes.
to prevent these men from becoming violent extremists by having sex with them. Checkmate, feminists.
I mean, it really is just basically the summary of the dude's logic if you really think about it. It's like, oh, well, here, let's play the card just for once so they can see my trap card. And it's just like, man, really? You really think you got him with that? The Elusive Virginia and the Mines? No, they probably won't. Sarcasm. Well, I figured there were. But, I mean, like, what the dude's doing, what sounds like, you know, hey, we need to tackle incels. But if anything, it's literally just playing into, like, the whole broader incels, like, you know, ideologies, like, hand. I mean, he's, you know, and honestly, if people, you know, saying that this guy's, like, a gay conservative trying to, like, placate towards, you know, incel types and shit, it makes sense. The card plays out. Which, ugh. And he's not even, like, that good at it, because it really makes me think he's a troll, and honestly, I wonder if, like, even some other incel types probably think the same. Like, this guy can't be that serious. I agree with him, though, but, like, this guy's trying to, like, get a rile out of us, or try to be, like, you know, trying to make us look bad or something. Even though we already look bad. It's like, oh my god, dude. Man, and that's why, like, it's like, how do you get through with a motherfucker like that? Like, you know, because there are definitely plenty of dudes that obviously struggle with loneliness and shit like that, that aren't this fucking deep. But, man, still cough. It's gonna come over later. Yep. Sleep cough is so typical, so I don't think it was trolling. Self-absorbed this energy. Yep. He definitely does. Goddamn dog. Damn it, dog! Dude, he's freaking the fuck out because he really wants to see Harley. But I do have to get work pretty soon here anyway, so finish the last little bit of this bowl and then come back, of course, later this evening. I keep forgetting that it's like the off week, you know, of DFF, and I'm like, oh yeah, there might be an onion nugget snap. I'm like, oh wait, no, there ain't. Oh, one of those bastards decides to stream or something.
What is it?
Bees out.